Hi, and thanks for joining me for my second discussion. This week, we reviewed two articles that give marketers insight into consumer interactions. The first article, The Elements of Value, focuses on what the title implies the different elements of value. The second article, Competing on Customer Journeys, focuses on how consumer experiences have changed over time. There are many key takeaways from these articles. I will be first giving attention to the elements of value. This article informs high level marketers that it can be hard to determine what consumers desire and for what reasons. It suggests that pricing, which usually involves crunching numbers and analyzing data and things of that nature, is only a small part of what most call value. There are models that have been developed to help marketers assess consumer value, and it has been learned that value is dependent on numerous components and offers businesses with rewards. High levels of consumer value offer the rewards of stronger customer loyalty and willingness to try new products. The numerous components that value entails include functional, emotional, life-changing, and social impact. Consumer research that was conducted over 3 decades or so has allowed for the gathering of 30 key elements. Shifting to the second article for a second, the main and repeating takeaway is that the customer experience or the customer journey has become a crucial part of virtually every brand. Having a strong customer experience can set companies apart, giving them a competitive advantage. This has been done by shifting the focus from reactive approaches, such as tying consumers into contracts that may or may not be the best for them, to more proactive ones, such as providing the consumer with an enjoyable experience. Both articles provide some great advice, which I do agree with for the most part. I believe that articles are applying a more modernized approach to marketing that is pretty necessary for any business to continue to progress in the changing market. Elements of value suggest that businesses and high level marketers must anticipate what people consider valuable. I think this is applicable both to values and customer experience. I believe the author is advising marketers to get out ahead of the problem and recognize solutions before any challenges arise. Now, I will say, I do not think that marketers, even the most seasoned marketers, are able to predict every change before it happens. But I do think with the increase in technology and analytical tools, making trends more easily observable and predictable could possibly lead to better problem solving methods. Unlike last week's article that provided short yet clear responses, this week's articles provide more in-depth recommendations. The elements of values offer a lot of great recommendations based on consumer research. They suggest, based off of their research, that value can be a combination of numerous elements. The elements are strongly dependent on the industry, culture, and demographic of consumers. But no matter the industry, businesses must ensure that the product or service meets minimum level consumer standards. Then, taking the industry into consideration, the business must give attention to elements that are expected to weigh heavily for that industry. A great example that was given in the article is sensory appeal. It's very important for a food and beverage product. You can have a product that looks good but tastes not so good, or a product that doesn't look too good but tastes great. The elements of value are applied to both online businesses and brick and mortar businesses. For high level marketers to determine what is most important to their consumers, they can try numerous different things such as structured listening, ideation sessions, customer centric designs of prototypes, and choice modeling. As it pertains to competing on customer journeys, it is suggested that businesses can implement some known methods to improve the customer experience. And a lot of these methods we're pretty familiar with because we are consumers. Automation and streamlining. Gathering and saving consumer information from past interactions with that particular customer does a number of things. It cuts down on time loss of consumers. It makes the experience more convenient and less time consuming. And it also personalizes the journey, making that customer feel like they are the focus in that moment. Also, being sure to know how to attract the customer at certain points in the journey is beneficial. After all, you may not use the same tactics to entice a customer who is doing product research online and one who is physically holding the product in their hand. Knowing where they are and what that particular point means for that consumer can help the business steer the consumer to the next point, bringing them closer to purchasing. A huge recommendation that is made and that may be time consuming and costly is restructuring the organization and management types. C-suite officers such as chief experience officers, chief digital officers, journey project managers, which are known by many different titles, all are focused on the customer journey, determining which investment should be made to better the customer journey. Like we learned last week, marketing has become an integrated effort. These managers may use Scrum teams composed of IT, analytics, operations, and other business functional area experts to make the important decisions that drive consumer experience. The articles are applicable to all business types, national and international. Elements of value and customer experience both come down to understanding what the customer wants. Before entering into a new market, I would suggest that the company does extensive consumer research to ensure that what they are offering is actually what the customer wants. If they find that what they're offering is not what the customer wants, maybe they can make some subtle changes of current products to make them more desirable by potential customers. The largest ethical issue that I think marketers will wrestle with when it comes to consumer value and journeys is to ensure that information gathering and research is conducted ethically. Companies or third-party research partners that the companies may have doing their research should ensure that consumer privacy is of the utmost importance. They should ensure that they have permission to access certain information, make sure that research is conducted following professional and governmental regulations, and that information is not shared without consumer knowledge or permission. Changing technologies, changing consumer values, competition, company goals, time constraints, and ethical issues may all face high-level marketers with challenges. But I believe a creative and innovative marketer can overcome every obstacle, especially with the right team on their side. In order for marketers to be successful, they must keep in mind that they are working to meet the need of two entities: the business that they are working for and the consumer. This concludes my second discussion board post. Please be sure to leave me a reply. I look forward to discussing with you all, and please forgive me for my phone going off during the creation of this video. All right, talk to you guys soon.